What is up, everybody? We are back to talk about the Truist Championship. Should be a fun week. It's a week before the PGA Championship, but it's still an exciting week, an exciting field. This is a signature event. So limited field. There's 72 golfers in the field, and there's no cut this week, which isn't great from a DFS perspective, but at least your lineups won't be dead after Friday. Now, congrats to Scotty Scheffler. Incredible performance last week. Talked about it on this video that he was going to be locked into all my lineups. He ended up having a decent week. I didn't have all the right pieces around him, but having him 100% certainly helped the bottom line with my DFS lineups. Now, let's talk about the course this week. It's in Philly, Pennsylvania, so kind of the Northeast region. This is a course that they're playing for the very first time. It's a par 70, just over 7,100 yards. This was originally designed in 1922. Over the years, it's changed quite a bit, but they did a restoration in 2013 to kind of bring it back to its 1922 roots, which is something that you love to see in golf agriculture. Should be a lot of fun. The course looks awesome. It's pretty open off the tee. The fairways, despite this being a short course, 30 to 32 yards wide on average. The greens, they're heavily bunkered. They got slopes. They got, runoff areas. And it's just going to be tricky. From what I've read about the course, you have to work the ball both ways. So guys that can be pretty accurate off the tee, and then good iron players know how to flight their ball, know how to move the ball, should be at an advantage here. And I do think the greens are going to be pretty difficult to hit in regulation. So we're going to see a lot of scrambling. There are only 2 par 5s on the course. Now, this course was played the Senior Players Championship back in 2016. So after the restoration, we do have one professional tournament here, and the winning score was +1. Bernard Langer won at +1. Obviously, golf's in a much better position than it was 9 years ago. The technology, just the quality of golfer, all that. And then obviously we have a much better field. But I do think it's going to be a pretty tough test of golf. If I'm predicting winning score range, I think between 10 under and 15 under is probably going to be your best bet. So it's not going to be the 30 under par that we saw last week with Scotty Scheffler. I do think it's going to play pretty tough. And for me, I'm looking at strokes gained approach because, again, kind of just want to be a positional golf course off the tee. Just got to be good with your irons, got to be good around the green, got to avoid bogeys, got to putt well on these bent grass greens. And I think that's pretty much it. I'm also going to be looking at some other splits like I always do. I'll get to those here in a second. But let's talk about the weights of the model. So pretty small weights off the tee for me, 6%, 3% to total driving. Again, I just don't think it's a course where driver is going to be as big of a weapon as it is most weeks. 12% weight to strokes gained approach. I don't have the expected approach metrics because we don't have the expected approach shots because we haven't seen the data from this course in the past. 3% weight to green regulation, and I concluded this week because the more difficult the course, the more important greens and regulation becomes. So I do think that could be something that you might want to include in your model this week. 6% weight to around the green, pretty high. 8% to putting with 2% to bent grass splits. Only 3% to bogey avoidance. Then I got 3% to birdie or better percentage, 6% to bogey avoidance. Now the miscellaneous metrics, we have strokes gained on short par 70s over the last 3 years. JT number 1, just one on a shorter course like this. Rory McIlroy, Russell Henley, Keegan Bradley, Eric Cole. A lot of names you might expect. Strokes gained in very strong fields over the last 3 years. Rory McIlroy, Xander Schauffele, Tommy Fleetwood, Colin Morikawa, Hideki Matsuyama. So these are the guys that play well when they are playing against other elite competitors. Then strokes gained in the Northeast and the East. Just kind of a regional split, if you will. We got Rory McIlroy, Patrick Cantlay, who's won 2 BMW championships, kind of in the Northeast. Xander Schauffele, Keegan Bradley, who's from New England, Boston area. So he's going to be at home at this course because you don't just get a lot of courses in this part of the country. And then Corey Connors, who I think has won twice on bent grass green. So I think all those guys set up pretty well for this course. As always, we have the form and field strength. You can divvy this up however you want. I have 9% to field strength. Then I have my 0% to over the last 18 months, but that is all included in this. So technically I have 16% over the last 18 months. And then it's just broken up into their percentile finishes, and then on a raw strokes gained basis over the last 3 months, and then over the last 12 months here. Okay, let's get to the overall ratings. So at the very top, last week I talked about it. I wanted to lock in Scotty Scheffler. I didn't love the spot for anyone else in the 9 and 10Ks. I just didn't think they were nearly as good as Scheffler, so I locked him in. This week, I'm doing the opposite. So Rory McIlroy coming off of a huge win at the Players. He's already won at Pebble, huge win at the Masters. He's already won the Players and Pebble 2. Next week's a major. I just don't know. And this is a shorter course that neutralizes the driver a little bit. So I don't think he's going to play bad, but I don't think he's necessarily head and shoulders above everyone else in the field. And that kind of checks out in terms of the rating. Last week, Scotty Scheffler had a 99 rating. This week, Rory McIlroy's number one. It's 77.5 rating. So it just kind of shows you the quality of the field this is, and then how Rory's not separating himself in terms of the projection like we saw from Scheffler last week. Morikawa, number 2. Man, after a really strong stretch, he just hasn't been great the last couple of weeks. One of them was a team event, but he did miss the cut there. Wasn't great the week before that either at the RBC. So I'm a little bit worried about him. Xander Schauffele just hasn't shown a ton of upside so far this season. A little bit worried about him. And then JT coming off of the win at the RBC. I do like him on these shorter courses, but he's been better in easier fields and tougher fields. So, I don't feel great about any of them. I like starting my lineups in 9Ks. I'm going to be starting a lot of lineups with Patrick Cantlay and Russell Henley. So Cantlay, solid across the board. Doesn't have a weakness in his game. Good in strong fields. Good on short par 70s. Good in the Northeast. Pretty good form so far this year. Henley, a guy that's elite around the green and elite on approach. He's having a career year with the putter too, which I don't hate. Also picked up a win at a signature event already this season. So I prefer starting with those two rather than one guy above 10K. And then Corey Connors is probably my favorite point per dollar play of the week. 4 top 10s in his last 6 starts. A guy that has always been a good total driver of the ball, a good iron player. If you look at his short game, he's gained around the green in 6 of his last 7. He's gained on the green in 5 of his last 7. So a guy not known for his short game is clicking in that part of his game right now. So if he puts everything together, I could see him winning this week. No strong take on Hideki. I do think if the winning score is going to be, 10 under par, I think that sets up really well for Fleetwood and Lowry. I like Lowry a little bit more when you factor in price, but I think both are interesting options. I like Keegan, again, Northeast narrative. He's been a really good ball striker his entire career, especially over the last 4 events. So it kind of seems like he's really turning it on lately. Ludwig, don't have a strong take on him. I don't necessarily expect him to play bad, but like Rory, the driver's the biggest weapon, and I just don't think it's as big of a weapon here as it is on a lot of other courses. Love the spot for Aaron Rai. Again, approach play, accuracy off the tee. Same goes for Brian Harman. Harman's got the better short game. Rai's a little bit better with the irons, but 2 of my favorite plays of the week. Hovland worries me on a course where I think around the green play is going to matter. He's one of the worst in the field at that. I do like Denny McCarthy. Tends to play difficult course as well. Tends to play shorter course as well. Definitely on my radar. I'm going to be bumping up Berger. I'm going to give him like a manual projection or bump of 10% or something, because I do think I want a lot of him. He's been playing great all year. As you can see here, over the last 3 months, he's been as good as anyone in the field. It's just the long-term stuff that's kind of holding him down a little bit. But I do think 8,600 is a good price point for his form. Finau projects well, but I don't know what to do with them. We haven't seen a good finish from him in a while. Pendrith more of a bomber. Mitchell more of a bomber. I think Poston's an interesting course fit. In terms of the cheap guys, I don't mind looking to Glover. Don't mind looking to Adam Scott. Eric Cole on a course where driver probably isn't going to matter that much. Ryan Gerard's been playing some great golf. His field strength index is pretty low, but again, maybe you can get it done in the signature event. That'll just about do it. It's good to see Alex Noren back in the field. 6,200 for him. I'm curious to see how he'll play, because his top 10% rate is pretty high compared to most other guys in this range, but we just haven't seen him for so long that I can't really target him this week. But moving forward, guy that I will definitely be keeping an eye on. So that'll do it for this week. Hit the thumbs up button before you head out of here. Appreciate y'all. See you back here next week for the PGA Championship.